as most of you know, I come from a past of a lot of restrictive dieting and calorie counting and fear of gaining weight, and even a lot of water fasting and intermittent fasting. So there was a lot of unease that spread out into all areas of my life back in the days inside of me. But everything really changed when I moved to Byron Bay to a yoga center where they served vegan, food. That was back in 2018, and that's also where I, really got in close contact with yoga and decided to do my yoga teacher training as well. What was happening there is that, they just served vegan food, and I began to feel so incredibly amazing, like just emotional health, physical health and mental health, everything improved. And it was weird to me because I always thought, I was really afraid my entire life that, you wouldn't be able to get enough protein from, a vegetarian diet. I was often playing with the thought of going vegetarian, but then always going back because I thought, no, you need your protein. But when I moved to Byron Bay and, ate a vegan diet, I, really was confronted with that thought belief and, was proven wrong. I always felt satisfied. I always felt good. And then later on, I also learned about the ethical part and the health part of veganism and the vegan plant-based diet. And also, not long after that, I also discovered the 80-10-10 diet, where you basically eat 80% carbs, 10% fat, and 10% protein. And you basically just eat a lot of fruit, especially like a lot of monomeals of mangoes, bananas, papayas, watermelon, and, all other kinds of fruits, oranges. And when I first heard about that, I was like, no, that's almost too good to be true. Because, for a long time in my life, I have actually been following a low carb diet, back in my teenage years. And I did lose weight, but it was weight, which I, now can see. But that's why I thought this diet, would work and it's amazing and everything. However, I never really, looked at how did I actually feel, back in the days when I was eating that way. And, now looking back, I can see I felt like crap. I was not very nice to be around. I was constantly like not in a good mood and angry, and because of course I was eating so much animal products which are full of hormones, and for me it did not work out, which I can only see now. But so I discovered the 80-10-10 diet, and I felt even more amazing than I did when I, went vegan. And still, I did have that mindset of, lack mentality about, food, and always wanted to restrict my calories. Did a lot of intermittent fasting and 1 meal a day and water fasting. So there was something still out of balance. And while I do, strongly think that fasting is a great way to heal physically and emotionally, the foundation of fasting should always be a healthy mindset that you have with food. If you do not have a healthy mindset, with food, and you're, really having a lot of fear of gaining weight and all that kind of stuff, then fasting is not for you. Work on your mindset first. And also, do not use fasting to lose weight. It does not work. Our bodies are so intelligent, and what I've found every time I've done a water fast is that, after a couple of days of refeeding, my body was intelligent enough to tell me to eat a little bit more every day. So I pretty much, gained the weight that I've lost on the fast back afterwards and was back to normal. So fasting for losing weight does not work. Been there, done that. And just generally, I feel like if you really want to live a healthy, fulfilled life, then it's really important to let go of, your fear of gaining weight and your whole idea of how, a body should look and how big or small it should be. Let that all go and just focus on how do you feel. And I personally just feel amazing when I eat high carb. And why is that? Well, because our brain runs on glucose, and glucose and fructose is, our primary energy source, and it's, for your body, it's so much easier to just, get the fructose from the fresh, ripe, and juicy fruit and convert that into energy compared to eating animal products and converting that into energy. And so why is it important that fruit is ripe? Because the fructose from ripe fruit is just easiest for our body to put into energy. And it's also really important that it's fresh fruit. Like personally, when I eat a lot of dates, I don't really have that good digestion. So yeah, the fiber is really, really important nutrient for optimal digestion. And fruit is also really like juicy, so because it is so water rich, it's also really awesome for our body to hydrate our bodies properly, because most bodies in society today are dehydrated. And many people might not want to hear this, but so it's really important to eat loads of high water content fruit, like mangoes, watermelon, papaya, but even bananas are like great. And to me, it is a meditation, or it has been a meditation practice in and of itself, to eat that way, to eat high carb and always eat enough. And because we have been conditioned, to think or believe that sugar is bad, and we have to eat small portions, otherwise we're like weird. But to me, it's just continuous surrender and letting go of that, and especially when I'm around new people, to stay true to myself and still eat a big bowl of whatever fruit or salad I'm having. And so, and also for many people who come from a past of restrictive dieting, it is also meditation practice in and of itself to really like get it in that you gotta carb up, you gotta eat enough to be able to feel your best. When you're constantly under eating, you're low on energy, and you don't really have the desire to go out and live your life, enjoy your life. So and I would also touch a little bit on why I don't eat animal products. Might not be a surprise for probably most of you who are watching, but still, for those who are new to this, I still want to share it real quick. The thing with animal products is because they have no fiber at all, and because they don't have any fiber, it's like really gonna cause not very good digestion. And also, animal products take a lot longer to digest compared to fiber-rich fruits and other plants. And because of that, the food that we eat, when it's animal products and it takes so long to go through your colon or through our colons, it will then begin to rot. And I think it's pretty apparent that that's not optimal. And then I personally also just find it's unethical to exploit animals and to support the system that we're like living in, where we're just slaughtering animals. And even if it's for milk production, it's not really nice to see those cows being like cramped in there and really being exploited for something that is not meant for us, but that is meant for their babies. And of course, after having watched a lot of documentaries, I personally just find it extremely unhygienic, what is going on in the animal production. And I'm personally not really drawn to eat animal products anymore. And the same goes for like high protein diet. When you eat very protein rich foods, then it's also not very easy for your body to digest them. And what I found after research is that unless you're chronically under eating, there is no such thing as a protein deficiency. So there's no need to really worry about getting enough protein, because we are literally getting protein from, you know, all the plants that are out there, from all the fruits, from the vegetables. And even if you're still eating cooked food and you're eating like grains and roots, there's still like, you know, enough protein in those foods in its natural state. There's no need to add anything to that. And I also just experience much better mood since I eat high carb, because as I said, like, our brain runs on glucose and it's the easiest energy for our body to use. And also something that, you know, really transformed my physical health was to, you know, cut out salt. I'm not super strict about it. If, you know, I have a little bit of mustard in my salad dressing, or I eat a little bit of tomato sauce, then, you know, I'm not too bothered about there being a little bit salt in, but I definitely always keep it, you know, less than 1 gram of salt per day. And because what we really need is sodium. And, you know, you can find, we don't really need salt in our body. And I personally, when I consume, you know, high amounts of salt, I often feel very dehydrated and need to drink a lot of water, and sometimes even get a headache, which is a sign to me that it does not belong into my body. So yeah, so what we really need is not the salt, but the sodium. And the sodium you can get from, you know, most plants, especially from celery and cherry tomatoes. So yeah, and then I also, last of all, want to touch on low fat. Yeah, that's also really, really easy way to feel more energized, is to keep it low fat. You know, again, I don't mind having an avocado here and there, or putting some hemp seeds in my dressing, but definitely fat is not something, you know, word fats, it's not something I'm, you know, having on a regular basis. So yeah, since I did that, I also experienced a lot more energy and, you know, vibrancy in a way. And what I just feel like when I eat fat, that it clogs up my system. And yeah, from what I've researched, it also like clogs up the arteries, and it's just like not something we need in high amounts in our bodies. And again, same as with salt and protein, you get all the fat you need from you know, plants in its natural state, especially of course from avocado, but also from like tomatoes and all other fruits and vegetables, really.